and welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we'll be looking at how to iterate over an array. Iterating over an array. We've talked about for of loop, so by now it should not be strange or new to you anymore. You can use a for of loop to iterate over the element of an array. So just as you can use the for of loop to iterate over object keys, you can also use it to iterate over the element of an array. And in this lesson, we are going to take a look at an example of how that can be done. So I'll be practicalizing with two different examples, with string and with number, so that you see how the for of loop works to iterate over the element of an array. So let's get started. Here is my code editor. So I want to talk about iterating over the element of an array using the for of loop type. So we're making use of for of loop type to iterate over an array element in this first example. So the first thing to do is I will make an array. When you want to iterate over an array, of course, you need to make the array that you want to iterate over. And so I'm just going to make random letters as my array. A, B, C. And now that I have my array, it is time to iterate over it. Iterate over the array element. So what's the first thing first? I need a place to store the output of that looping, of that iteration, which is why I created that empty text variable. Then I can pass in my for of loop of what I want to loop over, letters, and say, okay, text plus equals x plus, then I can add the break tag. So with this for the outputs, document dot get element by id one dot inner html equals to text abc. So now you can see that the for of loop can be used to iterate over the element of an array. So this is how the for of loop works with array elements. So you can see I have three elements in my array object, and I'm using the for of loop to loop over the elements of my array here, and then this is where I'm printing out the output, and this is the body of my array, which contains the return that I expect from the conditions pre-filled inside my array. So that is one example of how you can use the for of loop with string in arrays in JavaScript. So the second example is going to be a number this time around and not a string. So I will clear this, and then I will make a number array. Number equals to, of course, you know that number does not need a quote. It's only when you are working with string that you need quote. And now I can just iterate over the array elements. And how do you do the iteration? So don't always forget that you always need a place that will contain the output from your for of loop. So const x of numbers, then text plus equals x plus the break tag. And now generate the output document. It gets element by ID, one dot inner HTML equals to text. And you can see 2468. So I just showed two different examples, one that involves string and the other that involves number. So this is how you use the for of loop to iterate over the elements of your array, whether it's a string element or a number element. So this is how you do iteration using the for of loop. So going back to what we have on the slide, you can use a for of loop to iterate over the element of an array. So that is how you can iterate over the element of your array, regardless of the size of the element, whether string or number. So it follows the same way and the same pattern. So knowing this helps you to simplify what to choose in moment when you are faced with tasks that involve the use of loop or the use or to perform iteration. So understanding this, understanding the context will help you to make the right and informed decision about choosing a suitable loop type that will be able to solve your task problem at hand at a particular point in time. So moving away from here, we are going to be talking about how you can iterate over a set. So we are going to be looking at a set object shortly after this lesson, so that you can see how the for of loop can also be used over a set to see the versatility and the usefulness of this particular loop type. So that is it for iterating over an array, and in the next video we'll continue and observe how we can use the for of loop to iterate over the element of a set. Till then, I'll see you. Take care.